We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
You got to have the why, and we know our why. So
you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. Millions and millions of people have done this already. You can get help, you can get a roadmap, you can save a lot of time, money, and frustration. Welcome to the Value Add Podcast with K&K.
Hey everybody, Value Add with K&K. Crystal and Kenny here. Just want to say thank you so much for the support, for listening, the comments, everything. Keep it up. We'll keep going as long as we can.
And if you like what you're listening to, like what you're watching, tell your friends about it, leave us a review, maybe even give us 5 stars.
We love those.
That's how we can grow and continue to bring you guys value and spread the word.
Thanks, guys.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Value Add Podcast with K&K. Today we have Tony Kaju here. Tony has become a good friend of ours, but he is the owner. He's the owner of 2 auto repair shops. It's Aero
Auto Repair.
And commercial fleet services. And so one's off Aero Drive, and then the other one's in National City.
Yep.
Tony, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What part of San Diego is that technically?
Kearny Mesa.
It is.
Aero is Kearny Mesa, and then National City, Coolidge off of Coolidge, it's National City.
Yeah, and then you're like 15 in Aero, right? 15
yes, right on the corner of Aero and Ruffin.
Cool.
Oh, right there. Okay.
And that's your newest location.
That's the newest one, yeah. Yep.
Cool. So, how I met Tony is my voice is Mitch. Well, I just bought the Lincoln, and then Mitch is we got to find an auto repair guy, which we got it here, and it was just like a fucking mess. Excuse my French. And
it's like every classic car.
Yep.
I was like, what are we going to do with this thing now? It's been sitting in a garage for 20 years.
Our office was located off in Mission Valley, and then Mitch drives by. He was located right here on the mobile.
Mission
Center.
Yep.
Friars.
And Friars.
Sees your classic
Cadillac.
And then basically Mitch is like, I found the guy, just bring the car there.
Yeah.
So we
How unlikely, though, to find an auto repair guy at the mobile station for your classic car, too.
And then
That's true.
So it's like been history since then. So we flatbed the car there, and then Tony just started fixing it. And I was like, wow, this guy can do a lot of stuff. I mean, you don't know because you drop a car off, you're like, oh yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
And then you get a bill for $10,000 and you drive it away, it doesn't run. So.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, we just started talking a lot because the car was in there a lot. And then we became friends, and then like the rest is history.
Yep.
So Tony, when did you move from there? And then you bought. Tony was renting there, got tired of renting, and said, I need to change. You need to buy a location.
I actually lost my lease there.
Yep.
Lost my lease, and then that was last minute because we were gonna. They were gonna renew with me, but then they decided to tear down the repair shop, turn it into a C store, and then candy store, and then I found a shop in downtown. Took over that location for about 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. Tried buying the property there, that didn't work out, and then I found the National City location.
I think we've been to all of your locations for
one
reason.
Think so.
Not the most current one on Aero yet, but we've been kind of there along the way.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
Tony, how did you even get started in the auto repair business, like way back from the beginning?
My dad has been in the automotive industry his whole life. All 5 of my uncles are mechanics.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So,
That's right.
And my dad was a Mercedes mechanic, and funny enough, he was a Z mechanic too. Aero Auto Repair used to be a Z shop. So then the reason why he picked the Z is because Mercedes had a very, Z, Datsun, had a very similar motor to the Mercedes. The Japanese were very good at doing reverse engineering. So they reverse engineered that motor, and he was fascinated by, the way they re-engineered it. So he became a specialist for Benzes and Zs. But anyways, we came from Greece in the 80s, and he opened up his first shop in I think 86, and he's had businesses his whole life, and I just grew up in that industry. Mm-hmm. After school, that's where I went. I went to work.
Cool.
You know, I didn't do anything. I would walk around, get dirty. Before I'd go home, I'd rub my feet on my pants, and I'd come home. I'd look, Mom, I got all dirty.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
I was working hard today.
Yeah, I always wanted to. I was always hands on. My dad would buy me a bike. I'd tear him apart. I wouldn't put him back together because I didn't know how to put him back together. So he would sit there and he'd help me out.
Cool.
You know, so it was.
So that was something you guys
guess it
liked
was
to
in
do
my
together?
DNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in my DNA.
So then whenever you graduated high school, you just kind of, did you still work for your dad, or did you when did you start kind of going on your own?
I went on my own in 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. 2008 is when I went on my own. My dad got
Is that in
older.
PB?
PB, yeah.
That was the Russo's gas station.
Oh, that's
yeah.
so funny. What a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
world.
Yeah. Yeah, 2008 is when I took over Gino's gas station.
Grand and Ingram,
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Took over that gas station, and then the rest was history.
There, then you went to the mobile.
Mission Valley downtown National City, and now Aero Drive.
Yep.
So,
And now you have two locations.
Two
One
locations.
which you own the real estate,
yes,
and another one where you purchase the business.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And two different models too. Mm-hmm. They are two different.
So what are you doing at both?
So commercial fleet service is all we do is business to business. We have a lot of state agency contracts, a lot of federal contracts with the federal government, and then a lot of local San Diego businesses that come to us for repair and maintenance.
Okay.
We're more of that. That shop is more of a wholesale auto repair shop.
Okay.
We understand that businesses have fleet vehicles, and they rely on these fleet vehicles to be out on the road so they can make money. And there's actually a statistic out there that if a fleet vehicle is down, that company loses anywhere between $700 to $1,000 that day.
Wow.
So
Wow.
$700 to $1,000 lost in revenue, right? Plus whatever you're paying that employee, and plus whatever the repairs are going to be on that car. So you can only imagine how important it is to do preventive maintenance on your vehicles, so that way you can prevent from breaking down.
And do you guys have like an emergency service? So if,
We don't.
Okay.
We don't. Yeah.
just curious how that happens if you're like late in the day or something like that, then they just bring it in the next morning.
Sometimes, I mean, if they come in like around 5, 6 p.m. and they really need it and they're a good customer, we'll
Accommodate and take care of
we'll help
them.
them out. Yeah,
Cool.
do whatever we can. So
And then what are you doing over here at Aero?
Aero is more focused on the public. Commercial fleet service is not open to the public. This one's more open to the public, and it's a little different. I've been out of that game for about 2 years now, maybe a little more, and coming back into it is I'm learning new things. I always thought I was the ultimate auto mechanic owner, but you're not. I'm not, and I don't think you'll ever be until the day you die. You keep learning. You constantly learn new
Because
things.
the car's technology keep changing.
Technology changes, people change, the market changes, social media changes. There's a lot of things that get involved with business.
What's the biggest change you're seeing in that industry since you've come back?
Since I've come back is just the competition that's out there in social media. And
Really?
Oh yeah, it's the competition in social media, in marketing. People, you have a lot more information at your fingertips. People can go on YouTube and look things up. People can Google things and look things up. Now, it's not always accurate, but it kind of gives you a direction of where to go, right?
Right.
It's kind of like when you build up a rash on your skin, and you try to figure out what you ate, what you drank, were you out in the sun, and you type all these things into Google, and then you're probably going to get somewhat of a good idea of what's wrong with you,
Right.
right? So you don't freak out and say, oh my God, I'm going to die. So cars are the same thing. You type in check engine light, that's going to come up. It's going to give you an idea of what that check engine light means, oil light, brake light, and so forth. So people are more educated. And
100%.
I think people should continue to educate themselves. And I, for one, I love to show people what's wrong with their cars. Grab a flashlight. Come here, let me take you back into the shop. here's a technician that's working on your car, and here's what's wrong with your car. It's leaking here, and this is why it's leaking, and this is what you need to do to fix it. I think you need to build that relationship. Everybody needs to have that relationship with your service professional. If it's a mechanic, if it's a lawyer, if it's a doctor, your construction worker, whatever it is, your handyman, landscaper. You got to build that relationship with people out there.
And I think people kind of generally want to be educated too. I mean, just to have a general knowledge about your car, or like you said, your landscaping, or how to turn on your sprinkler system, or whatever it might be. Just having that general knowledge, it makes people feel good too, that they're able to kind of make decisions based on having some knowledge and background.
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
I agree.
Yeah, because I think it's like businesses all have the stigma, right? It's like, oh, you're like a used car salesman,
Right.
But that stigma is kind of going away because, and like the whole car salesman, that stigma, because you can go online, you can do Kelley Blue Book. There's all this technology, so it's keeping them honest.
Yes.
And now people are shopping all over.
No,
Oh, yeah.
but before they walk in your dealership, they've already been online. Just like when somebody buys a home, 90% of people looked online before they called a loan officer or real estate agent.
100%.
Why not?
100%.
Why waste your time? So are you saying that before people come in and they land with you, do you think have a problem with their car? They've looked it up. They have some kind of idea. So when they come in, they're like, hey, Tony, I think I got this problem. Rather than before is like, here's my car. This light's on.
Right.
I don't know what the hell it means.
Fix it.
Fix it.
Right.
Now they're like, I looked up the light. It means this.
Sure.
So they feel like you come back and like, wait a minute, it said this. Why are you telling me 4 other things?
Yeah, to a certain degree, but you're right. People do want to have an idea. They don't want to walk into a store and not a service store like us and not have an idea of what's going on. People don't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
Right. They want to have an idea, so that way, when they do hear back from the service advisor, and the service advisor is on the same page as the customer is, and say, hey, by the way, you are right. The reason why your check engine light is on is because of this. You need to replace this. The customer is going to feel much more comfortable. Now, if the customer was wrong about the idea that they had about their car, and the service advisor comes at them and says, hey, it's something else and it's not what you said, they want an explanation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't just push them over. You have to explain to them. You have to tell them.
Because it's
You
money.
you were on the right track. You were in the right avenue, but you were a block away. This is what we really found wrong with your car that's causing, this light to come on, for example. So, yes, people are very, very more aware now. They've got the time. It takes you 15 seconds to get on your phone really quick and type in whatever you want to know about, and you'll find it.
And honestly, you can kind of teach yourself to do anything on YouTube, I feel like.
There's a lot of things you can do.
know?
If you're mechanically inclined just a little bit, you know how to hold a screwdriver, you know how to hold a wrench.
Yeah.
I think you can
Kinda
put two and two
figure it out.
together.
It might take you a while, but you can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I think that's the thing. I think we've kind of talked about this so much in any industry. Like, I mean, I think you could literally. There was a woman who built a house on you, like from watching YouTube videos. Like
Really?
she basically, watched a YouTube video for every little thing that she needed to do, and literally like built a house. And so you can kind of do anything you want on YouTube. It's just a matter of the fact that most of us don't really want to do that. So once in a while you want to challenge yourself, but there's always going to be a need for a mechanic or a loan officer or an agent or things like that.
Time is money. For a lot of
Yeah,
people.
because you might try it just for fun, but then your time is valuable,
Yeah.
What do you, especially at the shop over here, where it's just like day to day, what do you what's the most common stuff you're seeing? Like what are people coming in for?
Mainly services, maintenance, and
Like brakes.
brakes, oil changes, and I'm actually very proud of what these people do. They come in, they request oil changes, they request their car to be looked at because they heard something that wasn't familiar to them, and it makes me happy to see people that are proactive with their cars, because cars now are an investment. It's a big investment. I mean,
They're not cheap anymore.
they're not cheap. Cars are not cheap anymore. No, they're not. And even used cars are not cheap anymore.
Why do you think they're so expensive?
Because the quality of the quality of the car, and so many features that these cars
Technology.
have. Like right now, your car, for example, you've got. I mean, almost every car has this, but some of the things that you have on your car, other cars don't have. Like you've got Bluetooth, you've got navigation, you've got your surround sound, you've got your I don't know, Bang & Olufsen stereo system, maybe Harman Kardon, who knows.
You've got heated seats and
You've got
air-conditioned
heated
seats.
You got
and-
air-conditioned
yeah.
seats.
It's supercharged.
You've got
it's crazy.
you know,
Yeah.
you've got supercharged. You've got the special leather, that's Napa leather, that makes you feel special when you sit in it.
Massages you.
The seat massages you.
Yeah.
I mean, you got carbon fiber inside. You've got like all kinds of things. Like all this stuff costs money because we live in a society now that we demand it, right? The other day I was with my brother-in-law and his girlfriend, and we were talking to some people, and they were talking about how they hated traffic. And I thought to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, like, I really don't hate traffic. I actually enjoy traffic in a weird way because I get all my phone calls out of the way. I do all my phone calls, and I'm sitting in this leather seat. It's air conditioned. I'm sitting up high, right?
Yeah.
Comfortable. It's quiet. You know, I don't have to shift gears or anything like that.
Kenny, you should start looking at traffic like that, I think.
You know?
That he
Hell
has
no.
the exact opposite reaction to traffic.
And then, like, I make all my phone calls in the mornings. I do all my phone calls, and then in the afternoon when I'm going home, I call all the people that I couldn't speak to, you know, during the daytime.
Yeah, usually we use it.
The next thing you know, you're at home,
Yeah.
you know? So,
No, but it is funny you're saying that. It's like back in the day, like people are like shifting and it wasn't comfortable.
no.
And there
Like-
weren't cell phones either,
No.
so you
No
were
air
just
conditioning.
driving.
Like these cars are built for comfort. I mean, it goes all the way up.
Yes,
It's
yes,
crazy.
yes. Because people travel now far for work. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but San Diego's gotten really bad with traffic.
So bad.
Really bad traffic.
So bad.
And you ask a lot of people, hey, where are you coming from? I get a lot of technicians that come into the shop and, you know, looking for work. And I ask, hey, where do you live? Temecula?
Yeah.
Inland Empire?
Yeah.
What?
I had one guy from Corona.
What?
Corona. And I said, Corona? He goes to me, yeah. I said, man, that's far. He goes to me, oh, it's only an hour and 15 minutes.
It's so crazy to me that there's not like a shop close by.
5 minutes I complain.
Yeah.
I get to here, I go, what's the traffic on the bridge? It's going to take me 7 minutes to get home.
Yeah, yeah.
That's me. It's ridiculous.
It's it's crazy.
is us.
But you know, in the LA County or the Riverside County, you know, it's normal for them to travel
You're right.
45 minutes to get to a destination
And if there's
spot
an accident,
and relax and, you know, go have a coffee and watch the sunset.
That's
It's
a
normal
good
for
point,
them.
yeah.
Us, no, we're like 10 minutes, we're at the beach.
Yeah.
You know, half an hour we're in the mountains.
yeah.
You know, another half hour there we're in the snow and the desert or wherever, you know.
Yeah.
It's just so everything's so close.
Yeah.
But
That's a good
LA,
point.
Riverside County is just such a huge part of California.
And even people in the
Southern
Midwest,
California.
depends where you live. Some of them live so remote. To go to the store, it's 30, 45 minutes. And it's not that there's traffic. They just live remote.
Yeah.
And also, I guess San Diego's just so expensive, so that just kind of goes to show you that people literally have to commute into the city for work because it must not be affordable to be here.
No, I think San Diego's cheap.
I think it is too, but it just, you know, it
Compared
all
to-
depends on where your perspective is coming from, you know.
Compared to Orange County,
Yeah.
LA County, Riverside County,
So
And then you
expensive,
get
yeah.
San Francisco, which is the worst.
San Francisco, I
It's
don't even want to start.
it's
Bay
it's-
Areas, you can rent out your 2-car garage for
What
$5-6
is it?
grand
It's
a month.
like
It is crazy.
Tokyo or
Singapore.
China, Singapore,
Yeah.
New York, San Francisco, LA.
Yeah.
It's only in 2 hours.
Yeah. San Diego, I think San Diego's very cheap compared to these counties.
Long and 40 in 20 years, we'll be like, damn it, it was cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't feel now in 20 years, you'll be like,
Yeah.
man, that was cheap.
But then-
the building you bought,
Yeah.
you're like,
But 20 years from then, I mean, this is the thing. It's like we talk about this all the time because especially with real estate, you hear people going like, I'm looking somewhere else because San Diego's, it's just getting too expensive here.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, let's go talk to the guy who's owned apartments for the last 30 years. Ask him what he thought when he was buying those
"Move that a
apartments.
little closer to you."
I'm paying
move
too
that.
much.
Okay.
I'm paying too much. I'm overpaying. It's too expensive. The market's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think he thinks today?
Yeah. That's true.
You know, so like you said, I do think that San Diego's cheap, and compared to a lot of other markets, I think we're one of the more affordable kind of
Especially for
coastal
what you get.
Yeah.
cities. yeah,
I think we're the next big city.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
one of them. We're top. It's definitely top 3 probably.
What's the other 2 in California that you think is big? I think Orange County's already popped off.
Yeah.
LA's already popped off.
No,
Compared
I
to
was saying
San
country in the country.
Oh, in the country?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think some areas in Texas are popping, but like Seattle's already popped. But I think we're 1 or 2 of like in the country where,
Yeah.
because millennials want to be here. The weather.
Yeah. San Diego, I think, is just on the verge of
gem.
just like,
Yeah.
it's going to.
And there's a lot of opportunity here too. So, and you might be able to go live in the Midwest or somewhere else like that really cheaply, but there's also less opportunity. So you come here and you pay more of a premium to have more opportunity.
And you're also you're not. The weather can be extreme.
Oh my God.
Hot, and then it gets miserable.
Yeah.
And you get 2 months of
Hot and tornado. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, we're lucky we landed here. So, Tony, like, I think we always ask this question with people, like, how do people know, like, I think a lot of people when they're looking, especially for, like, we talked about with Kyle, like computer repair,
right.
your car, just things you don't know. Like, you don't know if I drop it off.
You can trust that shop.
I was getting my brakes changed. Why am I coming back? And you're like, well, there was all this stuff and there's this. Is the guy basically, hosing me over? Like, how do you know, like, whether it's your shop or somewhere else, how do you know you're getting, like, how do you know? Do you know?
Well, I think everybody now is starting with reviews, right? That's the first step that everybody takes. I take that step too. As much as I don't hate these Yelp and Google and all these. I don't hate them, but I think every business deserves a chance. But going back to your question, if I was to do it, if I was out of town and I break down, I'm gonna look at reviews first, right? And you just got to be proactive. You got to be building a relationship with your service advisor, telling your service advisor that you want to see, how do you do your inspections? Is it through DVIs or do you write them down on a piece of paper? DVIs are digital vehicle inspections. Typically, when you drop off a car is being inspected digitally with a tablet, and they go through like a 40-point or 60-point inspection.
Wow.
And if they find something wrong, they take a picture of that, and it's stored in that customer's file, right? So at the end of the DVI, what we do is that we send it out to the customer through text messaging or emails and let them see it for themselves. Now,
Smart.
what you can do is that if you were to get a DVI like that, call the service advisor, tell them, hey, I'd like to come out there and take a look at the vehicle in person. Okay?
Just to make sure.
Just to make sure and just to educate yourself. Take a look underneath your car. That's something for
You're
you to...
in it every day.
Yeah, you're inside the car every day, like you said. Take a look at underneath, too. You need to know what's going on. So go out there, take a look underneath. Show me where the things are wrong. Show me what's bad. They'll show you your hoses, your belts, your suspension components that have gone bad. And then find out what's priority. You don't have to do everything all at once. We prioritize. We prioritize safety first, and then making sure that the motor is going to last as long as possible. We don't want those two things failing on us or on the customer. So we'll tell them, hey, this is a safety item. This is more of a cosmetic item. You don't have to take care of this right away. Like interior stuff and, radios and whatnot. So I think that's the best way to go about it is check your reviews. Give the shop a chance. You can't satisfy everybody in the world.
No.
We're not all equal or the same, I should say. And be proactive. Communicate with your service advisor. Talk to them. Get a better understanding of your vehicle. Do some research on your vehicle. There's a lot of forums out there. A lot of enthusiasts that are fascinated about Range Rovers or Mercedes or Infinitis, Nissans, whatever it is. You can learn a lot about your car just by reading the internet.
Also, I think referrals are probably like the best thing you could.
Referrals are huge.
It's like the first thing we do. I mean, you see all day long, I think we have clients or friends and we're all trading like, hey, do you have a guy for this or you have a person for that?
Sure.
You know, so I think
that's old school right there.
That's huge.
It's
and honestly,
proven.
it's still one of the best. Like when
best.
you get a referral from an existing client, isn't it so much easier?
Oh,
Like the
yeah.
level of trust is kind of already there.
Oh yeah.
Because they're bragging about you.
Oh yeah, it's that's true. That's true. It's like it's the smoothest transaction. You know, when you get a referral, a word of mouth, you know, it's like getting a referral for you know, a good restaurant. Like, hey, you got to go check out this restaurant. You know, and it's true.
And I think too, when you're referred from a friend, you're just a little bit easier too. Like even if you run into a hiccup, you're a lot nicer about it than if you just came in off of an ad or something.
Your friends also know you
Yeah.
a lot better, you know, than other people with reviews.
Yeah, and they kind of know, okay, this person might be a better fit than this other person I know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's the, in general, like what's the one thing you love about your industry and the one thing you hate about it?
I enjoy fixing things. You know, I like to see things when things come in broken. They leave working. It just fascinates me. You know, taking things apart. And the one thing that I hate about the industry is just the negativity out there. You know, there's negativity in everything. But at the end of the day, what I like to tell an upset customer, if we have one, is that, you know, when I was a kid growing up, a young man growing up, my dad and my mom used to always tell me, hey, if you have a problem in life and you can fix that problem with money, spend it, right? I always tell my customers, if we have an upset customer, that if your machine is broken, I know you're upset about it because maybe you're in a bad situation, but if you can fix this problem, this is a problem in your life. If you can fix this problem with money, spend it. Because life is so short that if you have, heaven forbid, if you have a problem with you as a human being, you know, you get a disease, you get a problem, sometimes money can't fix that. You know, it's material. It's a machine. It breaks. You know, I didn't break it. You didn't break it. I can't be responsible for the past, present, and the future. So don't.
People get really upset. Huh?
People get very upset, and I hate the fact that it's not only the automotive industry. Everybody does it for. A lot of people do it for almost every single industry out there, and it's wrong. You know, imagine if I was a doctor and somebody died in my hands. I don't think I'd be able to live ever again. I mean, I'd be so upset. I don't think I can live with myself. If I was a doctor and somebody died in my hands, I'm like, all right, walk away, next person. Sometimes you got to have that switch like on off. Me, I mean, we're working on cars. If you know, we screw up and we ruin something or we break something, you know, I feel very bad. You know, I'll step up to the plate. I'll take care of that problem. But it's, you know, you think about it, it's only a machine. It's not. You're not working with a human body.
But Tony, you have such a positive outlook on things. I mean, we've talked about it in so many different ways. I was just thinking about it when you're telling that story of your mom and dad saying, like, if it can be fixed with money, just fix it.
Exactly.
Or like, I love traffic. I mean, it's just my time to make these phone calls. Or like, my daughter woke me up at 2 a.m. and we just played for 4 hours, and I feel great. I didn't sleep at all, but I feel great. I'll sleep later. You just have a really positive outlook. I feel like a lot of people could learn from you on that too. Like just outside of being,
it's
you know,
gratitude.
An amazing mechanic. You just do really come from a place of gratitude all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think honestly, just how to put this, use myself, is I was born in this country.
Yeah. That's another thing I wanted to say about this country.
No,
Go ahead.
I was born in this country. I'm white.
Yeah.
I'm technically privileged.
Yeah. You are.
And so Tony looks at somebody like me, maybe not me technically, but I feel grateful to be able to do what I do.
Sure.
I work hard. I don't feel like I was handed anything, even though I was raised up, I was pretty good.
Sure.
But I think a lot of people that come to this country from somewhere else with your family, you saw them struggle.
Yeah.
They might have barely made it, or they sacrificed everything to get here for you.
Sure.
You're the next generation. Your daughter's going to be here, so she'll be a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
But this is like, it's kind of funny. Like, it's like Gary Vee always talks about this. Like, he's an immigrant from Russia. That's his big thing. And when you're, I think just when I'm, with you or people that we're immigrants from here, we all are, but we're not born here. They came here.
Right.
You just have it. You're just like, I'm blessed. I live in San Diego.
Absolutely.
I bought you, like you said, Tony's bought in a house. He always lived in a condo.
Yeah.
You have a wife and kids. And
Yeah.
It's like this.
And that all happened within like a year and a half.
This is for you. This is a dream. I don't know if you call it the American dream. It's your dream. It's a dream, but that's what it is. That's what you look at. It's just a reminder that we, all of us, maybe in this room, we grew up here, so we don't. That's why I think people realize like, oh, there's no jobs, there's no opportunities.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then I sit here and
crazy talk.
Yeah.
Tony, in the last,
I agree.
I've known you, whatever, it doesn't matter if I've known you 3 years. In 3 years, I've seen you go from renting a place to now owning a place, buying another business. You have 2 businesses, buying a house. And we're always talking about how to improve our lives and our business and family and all that. And so it's just encouraging because there is opportunity. It's always say it's a mindset.
We're in the best country in the world, the number 1 country in the world. And I think half of your success is coming to America. The moment you come to America, you've gained 50% of your success. Now the other 50% is for you to go out there and go get it. And you're right. We read, write, speak this language. We know our ways around. There's people that can barely say yes and no, and they're harder workers than us. Yeah. Right? We were born here. We know everything about this country. And these guys that can't even say yes or no are coming here and they're tearing it apart. They're tearing it apart. So it's very important, I think, is to travel. Traveling is very important, in my opinion, because it opens up your eyes to see what's out there. 100%. Right?
It does, yeah.
100.
It really hits the reset button. Me and my wife, we go to Greece every year.
Yeah.
And
jealous.
And we, I tell you, when I land over there, I'm like, how do these people drive, man? How do you guys live? And how that, like, I got a ticket there driving, right?
Really?
Yeah, I got a ticket. So the cop pulls me over.
This is great.
The cop pulls me over. He's talking to me in Greek. And so
your wife speaks
my wife speaks Greek. I'm like, I don't understand. And she comes over. She's translating. And I forgot what he said, but it was something like, okay, it could be 120 euros or it could be 40 euros. And he asked me, he goes, which one do you want? And I'm like, I'll take the 40 euro ticket. Give me the 40 euro ticket. I'll take that one. He goes, okay. So he writes me up. So then I'm like, where do I pay this? You go to the post office and pay it. And let me tell you, the post office is chaotic. Like chaotic.
Everybody that's got tickets is in there paying
Everybody
them.
that's got tickets.
Wild West.
Everybody that wants to deliver something, mail something out. It's chaotic. There's no lines. Okay, you just jump in front of people. You want to ask a question, just jump in front of this person, ask a question. I mean, it's just chaotic. Their driving is like that. Their airports are like that. Their post office is like that. Everything is like that. Okay, we just have it. We have it really good here in America. Like we think about, before we build this road, we're gonna think about the next 50 years. What are the kids?
Why are we building it?
Yeah. What do we need to do for our kids for the next 50 years?
Plan and the potential problems it could cause and the best way to go about it.
So I really hit the reset button when I go there. When I come back to America, I'm like, thank God. Thank God. And like, I hit the floor running. Like, because we like the average monthly payroll for a young man or a girl over there is 350, 400 euros.
It's crazy.
A month. Yep. Okay? So kids are not getting married over there. These young boys and girls are not getting married because they say, okay, you make 300 euros, I make 300 euros. If we need a kid, if we're going to have a kid, this kid needs diapers and needs food and needs this.
They don't have enough.
So a lot of people are not getting married.
Well, it's kind of interesting you say that because we've been to a lot of other countries where it was similar to that, is that, they're maybe making the equivalent to like $300 or $400, US or whatever it might be. It could even be less. And we're in these beautiful places And
Yeah.
you're like, even though we think it's so beautiful and we get the opportunity to travel here, those people will never make enough money to fly anywhere, much less get a hotel, travel.
Crystal and I always seem to like, I think when you're just a genuine nice person, like I like to know about people. So you're getting a massage, they start talking,
Yeah.
and they'll start talking to you. They're like, oh, so what is it like? And you're like, what? They're like, well, where do you live? And what is it like? And
Yeah.
what is it like to fly on a plane? And you're just like,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
They don't even, their goal in life is to just be able to buy a ticket and fly on a plane that's $25 one way to just another island over there.
Right.
And people are like, that's crazy. I'm like, when you make $200 a month and you're going to spend $25, that $200 isn't even enough. It's spent.
No.
It's spent on necessities.
To survive.
Not a cool shirt or this or that.
Yeah.
And then, it's back to what you're saying. It's like Monty and I were talking about today about just like general, but a person we know that buys real estate here. And I'm sure they were immigrants or their parents or whatever. But it's like, she goes, yeah, if you saw them, you'd never know they own 80 units.
Wow.
Those are my favorite people.
Yeah.
Because they could be doing this and that, but they get it. Because all this other shit, at the end of the day, it's nice, but it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Because most people in the other world, they just, like you said, they just want to have a damn kid. They can't even have a kid. They want to get married.
Yep.
We're over here like, I want to buy a house, buy a car, go on a trip, buy this clothes.
And it's still not enough.
Buy another house, take 3 trips.
Well, just like we were talking about, I forget who we were talking to, I think it was yesterday, that if you look at like old homes, even here, for example, the closets are really small.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow we've all been convinced like we need bigger closets and more clothes. Like back then they probably had 4 or 5 outfits that you wear. And now we have closets full of stuff and you just like throw out your clothes by the drove so you can buy new cooler ones or, get that new car every couple of years or whatever.
You know, but you're wrong. You go to other places, depends where you go. But there's always like, if you go to the countries, it's like the ultra wealthy and everybody's just below. And those people, you can see their house on the hill or whatever. But the average person's like, they're literally just wake up and they just survive. Yeah. And then you come here, like you said, and it's like there's so much opportunity.
Yeah, so much opportunity.
And then there's people that come here that are hitting the ground sprinting while everybody else is because their parents have money and they entitled their kids and they're lazy. Yeah. And they look at this, why is he working so hard? Yeah. Because they don't understand. They don't even understand that guy's so excited that he can make money more than $300 a month here.
Yeah,
he
that's
can go
true.
Bust tables, wash dishes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
make more money.
And he can't believe the fact that he's doing it. Making more than $300 a month.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah. We have it made here. We really do have it made here.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, we have a saying that we say, God gives walnuts to people with no teeth. And the ones that do have teeth don't get the walnuts,
Yeah.
So.
No, and I think that's kind of one of the things, like, as a friend in business is like, I always say, like, just take your car to Tony. And they're like, I refer because I'm like, I don't have to worry about you trying to, like, slime ball somebody or rip them off because you're like, no, I have an opportunity to do somebody's car, build a relationship. If I do a good job, maybe they'll refer me 10 people.
Sure,
maybe they'll refer me 1.
100%.
But that's just your mentality.
Absolutely. I always tell people, I said, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. I said, I'll tell you what you need. You just need to go hang out with some cool friends.
Yeah.
Just hang out with some cool friends. That's all you need, man. Just go out, hang out, have a good time. You'll laugh, you'll joke, you'll have a few drinks, come back to work, nothing wrong with you. Yeah. That's what you need. That's whenever you're in a funk, you just need to call up your best friend. You're the one guy that makes you laugh or the one girl that makes you laugh. Just call them up and go hang out with them.
Yeah.
That's your remedy.
And it's funny because like just cultural differences. You go to other countries too, and it's like funny, we're gonna go to Paris and we were there last time. We went around with this lady and I said, she's American but moved there. I said, what do people make here? She goes, they don't make enough money to live here. She goes,
this was in Paris?
Yeah.
Oh.
She goes, the people are up in roar or they're suing the country or government right now because they want to work 32 hours a week and not 35. And on top of that, they have a stipulation in there that when they leave the office at 5 o'clock, that they should not have to respond to an email.
And they passed the law.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I said, what do they do? She says, Kenny,
Yeah.
they don't care.
But they value their like life. They don't live
Yes.
to work.
Right.
So it's just
They
a completely.
work to live.
They work to live.
And people are like, what? I'm like, so when you go to Paris and we get
It's like
there,
that in all
first
of
time there, I go there, I'm having lunch. Everybody's around me. He's like, it's lunchtime. They're drinking wine, having a good time. I'm like, do these people work? They're like, yeah, they're at lunch. I'm like,
Yeah.
get back. They're like, they're just drinking a couple glasses of wine. I'm like, what?
The Greeks are the same thing.
No, but
And you can also never get a hold of anybody, and it takes forever to get
Oh,
anything
forget
done.
about it. When it's siesta time, forget it. The country is shut down.
Or I swear we were actually doing like working on some financing for a client years back, and we would call, and I kid you not, like every other week would be like, oh yeah, sorry, we were out on holiday. Like you couldn't get a hold of anybody for like a whole week, and they'd be like, oh yeah,
Holiday.
last week it was the holiday, we were all gone.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it'd be like a week where you'd be able to get a hold of them a couple times, and the next week they'd be on, oh yeah, that was holiday. We were on
Yeah.
holiday. I was like, how many holidays?
Yeah,
are
yeah,
there?
yeah.
like just how they do business, like with financing, you can't just, if you buy a home, put debt on it, you can't just go refi like here and pull like quick. It's like, if you do, it's some crazy fee. It's this whole thing. But then when you,
If
like,
you can.
like
is
here,
like-
if you get a loan and you have 3 days to change your mind or whatever, there they give them 11 days. 11 days?
Wow.
So, you know, it's just mentality is just different.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think people here, like, I think that's what it is like with auto or whatever it is, like with you, is it's just the mentality how you approach your business.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
What do you think? Do you think that, what is the percentage of people, I was curious, that wait too long to come in and like push a problem off in their car? And then it turns into some other problem. Or do you think people are on it, or do you think a lot of people still procrastinate a lot?
People still wait. They wait. They think they can get away with it.
I'm guilty of that.
And it
You know
becomes a
what?
bigger problem.
I have to say, though, it's funny. I was reading an article the other day on BMWs. BMW has this thing called lifetime transmission oil, right? So if you lift up BMW, you look underneath the car, you look at the transmission pan, it says, not to service the transmission, this is a lifetime oil. And I said, well, I was like, well, lifetime oil? Okay, we'll leave it alone. So I was reading this article through ZF. ZF is the manufacturer that builds the transmissions for BMW. And there's not that many manufacturers out there that build their own transmissions. GM is one of them, General Motors. Mercedes is one of them. I think Toyota is one of them. But anyways, I was reading this article, and it said that if you read the fine print in BMW's warranty clause, they warranty that oil is basically good up to 100,000 miles. What? That's what that oil is guaranteeing. They're guaranteeing that oil is good, that they promise you within 100,000 miles, nothing will happen to that oil.
Wow.
The oil, not the transmission,
Yeah.
but the oil.
Oh, that's
Okay.
funny.
They're promising that this oil is lifetime, that within 100,000 miles, we promise you that nothing will happen to the oil. It will not break down. So,
But your transmission, right?
transmission
Yeah.
is got carbon clutches inside. It's got metal pieces that are moving inside. And you're driving this car 70, 80, 90, 100 miles an hour sometimes, okay? Like you.
Yeah, exactly.
130
He's
going
pointing
over.
Gee, I wonder why I need brakes so often.
I know, right? You're like, what the hell?
Okay, and you know when you've got friction going on, guess what? When you have friction, you're gonna release some metal shavings. So when these metal shavings break away from the actual metal, there's magnets inside your transmission pan that attract these metal shavings. Okay, they try to prevent them from going into your carbon clutches. So you're supposed to service your transmission every 30 to 50,000 miles. Okay? Service them every 30 to 50,000 miles. Don't listen to what the manufacturer's telling them. Now, BMW, for example, also has this thing that, you don't need to change your oil for 15,000 miles.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So hold that thought. You go to get your oil change. Somebody's like, you got to come back here in 5,000. But then the book says 10 or 15.
Right.
Like, what's
That's
the deal?
all bull crap.
So what's
right
the
there.
answer? What's the correct answer?
The answer is come in every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. I mean, just
And why is it bullshit, and why should you? And why not listen to the book? Why listen
because
to
if you see our driving habits, there you got to. I have to pull it up for you, but if you pull up BMW's driving habits, it's not compared to how the way we drive.
So they're not realistic.
They're not realistic. They're not. They're driving in the village. We're driving in the city.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're
So-
driving 100 miles an hour. They're driving 60.
Yeah, Kenny's driving 150 miles an hour. We're driving 60.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we're stop and go, traffic, heat, hot, cold, raining. I mean, there's so many factors. So, and I can tag you in some pictures on Facebook and Instagram. These BMW shops will open up BMW engines that have waited 15,000 miles to do an oil change. After 50,000 miles, you open up that motor, it's all gunked up. It looks like somebody put Nutella inside their engine.
It's like eating McDonald's.
Really bad.
It's like eating McDonald's every day. Like,
So
Yes.
basically, if you want to like extend the longevity or the life of your car, your engine, or whatever,
Service it.
then you want to get that regular service. Because I mean, it's kind of like if you eat crappy food
Yeah,
every
it's like
day
you
for
said.
your life and you end up needing open heart surgery,
Yes.
versus the guy who's like eating.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what it is. We do open heart
clean
surgery
diet. Yeah.
when we rebuild the motor.
So let's go through that. For us idiots that don't know anything about cars, I'll say me. What is this? What is the stuff we should be servicing? Like, what's the typical stuff where you see you're like, man, these people, like the brakes, the tires, the
Right,
rotational
right.
tires, fluids, like, you know, like, can you run through like the quick
Yeah,
stuff? Like, what's
yeah.
important and what?
But I can simplify this for you very easily.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to a very good auto repair shop, they should be catching all these things for you.
Okay.
Your job is to come in for oil changes. And even that, I mean, with all the technology that we have right now, I just recently put a new system in the shop that it calculates how much you drive. It knows how much you drive based on data every day. The average consumer drives about 35 miles a day. Okay. So it knows how much you drive every day, and it calculates it for you. Let's just say you came in today for an oil change. Today's what, the 9th of August?
Yep.
So August, September, October, November. So it'll calculate for you that on December 9th, you're at 50,000 miles right now. On December 9th, you should be at 57,000 miles based on how many miles you drive right now. And it will set up an appointment for you in our database. It'll text you a week before, okay? It'll send you
love
an
it.
email a week before, okay?
And it'll shock you.
Okay. And it'll send you coupons, all kinds of things.
That's awesome.
Right?
Smart.
So it'll prevent you from, our systems prevent you from getting in trouble with your car. Because going back to what you were saying earlier, cars are a huge investment. I mean, the average car now is $60,000.
It is.
I mean, you want to go buy a truck. I want to go haul some wood. You're going to go pay 60 grand for a truck, for a
Right.
new
The one I
truck.
have.
And honestly, that's such a great idea because it's kind of like going to the dentist. I mean, who makes that freaking appointment to
I
get
know,
your
to
teeth cleaned every
cleaned,
year?
right?
Yeah, so it's the same thing with your car. Like having to remember that you're going to go once a year is not an easy thing to do. In fact, I was just sitting here as we're talking, like, when is the last time I had my car? Maybe it's been a year. I don't know. Maybe it's been more. So it's a difficult thing to remember
like when
and
you
to
get the
stay
oil
on top
change.
of too.
It is. It's very hard. It's
That's really smart.
But going back to your question though, if you're dealing with a very professional auto repair shop,
And
if
if you just get your oil done, they'll tell you about those.
if they're professional enough, they should tell you. They should be able to keep an eye out for your transmission oil, your differential oil, your antifreeze, your engine oil. They'll take a look for oil leaks. They'll take a look at your tires. They'll take a look at your brakes. Take a look at your serpentine belt, and that's honestly pretty much it. Air filter, air filter. I think they've got away with fuel filters. We're not seeing those anymore. And your HVAC filter.
Do you check brakes or
We check brakes too. Yeah, we do everything.
tire every year?
I mean, if you come to Aero Auto Repair, we're like, in my opinion, I think I was telling you, Monty, I can't remember, but one of my friends came to the shop and for the first time and he goes, man, you're like a degree away from dealership status. That's just how clean we've got it set up, how professional we are. I've got nothing but master certified technicians. They've got highest level of certifications, and if I take you to their toolboxes, you'd be like, Jesus. I mean, it's like they've got over $100,000 in tools.
Wow.
Plus all the tools that I provide for them to do all the computer stuff, like all the flashing and the programming and all that stuff. I've got maybe close to maybe $200,000 in tools just in modules and scanners and whatnot. So it all depends on where you go also. So you gotta make sure you're going
That's
to a
why
professional
reviews
shop.
and so if I am looking for a shop and I'm looking for reviews, but what should I be looking for in a shop? Like what should, if I'm going there, let's say they have great reviews, but you're saying you have all this technology and they might not. What should we be looking for? When we're looking at a
Look for
shop?
certifications.
Okay.
Look for certifications. We're AAA certified. We're certified. All the technicians are certified through ASE,
Okay.
Automotive Service Excellence. We're certified through the Automotive Service Council. We're a Napa Auto Care Center.
Okay.
These all speak volume in the automotive industry.
Like you have to meet certain requirements,
Have
get
to.
certain education, keep up certain level of
Absolutely.
standards.
Absolutely. Yep.
What so Monty and Mitch recently bought new cars.
Yeah. Congrats.
What do you think over, let's say they keep their cars they're new, over the next 5 years and then 5 to 10 years, what do you think their biggest possible expense is going to be?
Their 100K service, 100,000 mile service.
What does that include?
Every car varies.
Okay.
But let's just say it's a Honda,
Okay.
right? At 100,000 miles, we'll say it's a Honda with a timing belt. You're going to have to do your timing belt. It's basically kind of like a bicycle chain that runs the whole motor, and it's a rubber belt. So you got to do your timing belt at 100K. Replace your spark plugs at 100K. And I'm just guessing. I'd have to look up what the manufacturer.
You're being generic. I mean, yeah.
What
there's so many
what
cars
they
you don't
recommend. But spark plugs, timing belt. I would do your coolant flush. I would do your transmission service. I would probably do it all. And to do all that, you're probably looking around anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000. But that's only at 100,000. So when she hits 200,000, she'll do it again. But hopefully by then she'll be in a new car. Jeep Wranglers are actually a lot of cars. I have to say, a lot of them are being maintenance free. They're getting away with valve adjustments. Honda brought valve adjustments back. That's old school, but they're getting away with valve adjustments. They're getting away with timing belts. They're getting away with a lot of things. I mean, like these electric cars, they're getting away with serpentine belts. Everything's electric. So they're getting away with a lot of things. Cars are built very well.
You just have to know if the computers get messed up, though, that's when you end up
Computers
with
are
issues.
bulletproof.
Are they?
They're nearly bulletproof.
Yeah.
PCMs, powertrain control modules, are nearly bulletproof. It's the sensors that go bad because they're constantly registering. Register, send signal. They're constantly
So when
working.
you're getting to errors, a lot of times it could just be a sensor.
It's a sensor. Computers are nearly bulletproof.
And don't panic. It could just be something simple. Okay.
And if a sensor goes bad, check engine light goes on, that computer goes into a default mode, and it gets its best known reading, and it uses that known reading just to keep that customer driving. They could be in the middle of nowhere, they don't want to break down, so they put in a default reading and they continue driving, so that way the car doesn't break down.
So with the new cars, I think because everybody's getting new cars, obviously they're built better. How long do you think people can really drive cars now? Like how long can Monty? Probably if she's not Kenny in Fast and Furious.
Yes.
We're not filming Fast and Furious
No.
12 or whatever we're on. How long do you think she can probably keep that car if she's just driving like a normal human?
If she maintains her car, it'll last for a very long time. It's very hard to say.
Hundreds of thousands of miles, most likely.
I mean, I can almost promise you at least 200,000 miles.
Wow.
The other day, I had a customer that came into the shop, and he was upset that we had to put a new transmission in his car, and he was upset about it. And I said, do you ever service your transmission? Have you ever serviced your transmission? He goes to me, no. He goes, I've never serviced it. I said, okay, listen. I said, I'll make you a deal. And I have this on paper. I said, I'll make you a deal. If you service your transmission every 30,000 miles, so you've got a new one in there right now. So if you service your transmission every 30,000 miles and you promise to let me do it here at the shop, and you change out your radiator every 100,000 miles because there's a transmission cooler that's inside the radiator. I said, if your transmission ever blows up, as long as you own the car, I said, I'll buy you a new transmission. And I got it down on paper, and he said, okay. He goes, I'll take you up on that challenge. And I can almost guarantee you that transmission, if he maintains it, it'll go 400, 500,000 miles, no problem.
That's probably the guy who's going to stick to that too. He's going to
Probably
come.
will.
He's going to see you every 30,000 miles.
Yep.
What's the most miles you've seen on a car?
500,000.
What car?
Mercedes.
The one you have?
No, diesel. Diesel Mercedes, yeah. 500,000.
That's
Some of them go to
insane.
1 million miles.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Mercedes has one in their museum. It's got 1 million miles.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
going-
and the guy
that's
that
going
has
on
it,
Instagram.
I like that.
the guy that has it, Mercedes found him, and they said I think they offered him
commercial.
a new car every 2 years or 3 years. I forgot, something crazy like that. But they took the car from him, and they said, we're going to give you a car every 2 or 3 years, a new car.
But that's somebody that's very
Oh,
diligent,
maintained it. He's got records of it. That's what people used to do back then.
right?
Yeah, it's funny. I've bought some classic Benzes from people, and
Glove box.
a buddy of mine bought Rod Stewart's girlfriend's old Mercedes. Okay, I'll send you the pictures. It's a '62. It was
He's
a
looking
blue
it up.
one.
He's looking it up.
She every time she pumped gas, she wrote down that she pumped gas on this date. No, it's a blue one. She pumped
His other
gas
girlfriend.
on. She pumped gas on this day, right? She'll write down the date. She'll write down what gas station. She'll write down what octane, and she'll write down the mileage, right?
Oh.
So then the next time she pumped gas, she'll write down the same thing, and then she'll do the math on how many miles she got. So, and this is how people used to maintain their cars. People used to care about their cars.
Like a checkbook.
So listen to this. So this is when she bought it brand new, right? She got, we'll say, 200 miles out of that tank. And then 5 years later, she's keeping a log. Oh, we won't even say 5 years later, because cars, you had to maintain cars every 15,000 miles. We'll say 20,000 miles later, she noticed that her gas mileage dropped from 200 to 150, we'll say, right? She knows that there's something wrong with her car.
That's really
She knew that there was something wrong with her car. Sure enough, she takes it in. Mechanic looks at it, hooks up the scope, goes, you need a tune-up. Points, wires, spark plugs, ignition. You're getting fuel that's going inside the engine, and it's not being burnt because your secondary ignition system is worn out. So they would tune it up. She'd be back at 200 miles per gallon, 200 miles to the tank.
And that's when gas is 50 cents.
Yeah, right?
Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's how people used to. Yeah, it's crazy. I gotta pull this picture up. It's so crazy. Everything, oil changes, everything, like all kinds of things. I mean, it was great. Back then, that's how people used to do it. And now if you find a classic car, like a one-owner car, you ask the old owner, like, hey, do you have any records? And they'll pull up records for you. People used to keep all their
But
records.
if you do sell that car, that's so.
Oh, it's
you can sell
valuable.
the car for more because of the records. Literally,
It's
you
very
can get more
valuable.
because they know, like that.
Especially if they
car-
know that you took it in every
Oh,
30,000
no,
miles
yeah,
or
it's
every
worth-
15,
the guy
whatever
that
it
has
was.
a million
Yeah.
miles, the Mercedes would be worth so much because of just its
Yes,
cool.
yes. All the records, it's part of the history of the vehicle.
To kind of wrap up, what do you think? I mean, it's like, somebody said, hey, what do you think is the most important thing in real estate? Because all I do is real estate, right? I can say this. You're just working on cars every day, all day. You do all types of cars. Tony just doesn't do, you do trucks and work trucks and
Yes.
Classic
vans
cars.
and like classic
Europeans.
cars and Europeans and BMWs. Like
Right.
you can do a wide range of stuff, like
Right.
crazy. I've seen a lot of different things here.
Yeah.
And you're not scared to take on like my Lincoln Continental's crazy.
Convertible top.
Yeah, which is we were saying is one of the most
advanced
Like he
technologies.
took the book, Tony took the book, all figured out. We got the switches fixed and made it work. And I mean, I don't know how you did it, but what do you think is probably like something, people that don't know shit about cars, or it's a couple things. What are some things that we should really know about cars that might make us think a little bit differently about how we take care of them or how we think about them, just like a different your perspective is when you look at a car and you service it, you're more passionate, you have a different perspective.
Yeah.
When we look at it, we're like, is this damn thing going to start?
Right.
I got to get an oil change and I got to put gas in. This
Yeah.
thing is a pain in my ass,
Yeah, it's safety. I think safety is number one. You drive on the freeway, and at any given moment, there's probably 10 or 15 cars around you. I think safety is very, very important because, if you're not keeping an eye on your tires, and you have a blowout, and your blowout is on one of your rear tires, you're going to lose control. You lose control, you flip over, you could have
I didn't
somebody's
even know
kid. Yeah. Now, if you see Firestone, I think it was Firestone or Discount Tire, they had a huge lawsuit on tire rotations. They were rotating tires, and don't quote me on this, but from what I understood is that they were putting good tires up front, bad tires in the back.
I've heard, no, they did it to a car of mine back in the day. Yeah.
So someone had a blowout on the rear tire,
Flipped over, died.
flipped, something happened to, I don't know if they died, but flipped, had a problem. They couldn't control the car. So now it's a law that you have to put the bad tires up front, the good tires in the back. You would think that all my braking is up front, all my steering is up front, my engine is up front, me and my wife are sitting up front. I want the best tires up front.
Is that because the weight goes like that? Because everything's...
No, it's because you can't control it. You have a blowout. You have a blowout in the front. You can control it. You have a blowout in the rear.
You can't manipulate the car.
Cannot.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So it's dangerous. So I think safety
That's good to know.
is number one in my opinion, because you could have somebody in the car that's not related to you. You're responsible for that person.
Or other drivers on the road too.
Other drivers on the road. So for people that don't know, I think safety is number one. And if your mechanic or your service advisor is telling you something,
It's like a doctor.
there's a reason why they're telling you. Doctors are the same thing. Doctors telling you to quit smoking, you need to quit smoking. Another thing that I think is very important, and we're gonna try. We're on the AS. Well, I'm not yet. I'm gonna be on the ASCCA board, and that's the Automotive Service Council board. And I'm gonna see if we can try to take this torch up to Sacramento and try to get people to fix all their oil leaks, right? So think about it. We're living in San Diego. We barely get any rain, right? People are driving around with oil leaks, coolant leaks, and they're
It's a lot of accidents.
It's dripping all over the floor. The moment we get rain, it's slippery
So
everywhere.
you're going to get a big fine for your oil leak.
So what I want to do is that, how we do smog checks?
Yeah.
Well, I want people to go in for oil inspections every 2 years,
That's
Smart.
smart though.
right? Think about what it's going to do to the economy. It's going to boost the economy.
But also, when it rains, the first 30 minutes,
It's-
you
be
that
careful.
to me. When you say I drive like a man, that's when I'm like,
You're a good boy.
because I know you could see especially.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
That's when the shit. That's why when it rains, all of a sudden there's an accident.
Yeah.
Because somebody has balled tires,
Right.
the oil's there, boom.
Yep.
Somebody's driving down the freeway, the oil's spitting all over.
And oil's worst enemy is water, because it just they don't mix. They separate. So when you got water here, oil there, and it's just all over the place. Your car's all over the
Try
place.
to walk on the ground. Yeah.
So and that's also going to clean up the oceans. We're all about blue water, green trees. Why not?
That's smart.
Fix all these oil leaks. There's a lot of cars out there that have a ton of oil leaks. Fix them. Why are you leaking all over the place? You can't. If they were to catch you wash your car outside in front of your house, you'll get the biggest fine. But meanwhile, we can leak oil everywhere. So
It's a good point.
yeah, so it's all about safety. I think
Cool.
whatever your service advisor tells you, I think you should look at. If you don't trust your mechanic, maybe get a second opinion.
Yeah, why not?
Or get involved. You know, say, hey, come to Aero Auto Repair, and we'll take care of you. But yeah, you get involved. I think if you tell your service advisor, I want to see my car up on the air, I think that's your best relationship that you can start.
Hey, Kenny's got a couple of tricks from you with his Lincoln every time. Well, whenever I'm in the car and it breaks down, so he's got a couple little tricks that
There
he
you
pulls.
go.
Actually, I don't have to do it now. As long as I don't run out of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What day was that? Was that Christmas or?
Right around there.
It was Christmas, right?
man.
Yeah.
Tony saved my ass a few times.
Yep.
But now it's running good.
Yeah, that's good.
Those take time, though.
Yeah, they do. And that's
part of it.
you know, it's like what George said from Lincoln Land. He goes,
Honestly.
if you don't drive these cars, they break down.
Yeah.
You know, that's how Mercedes
He needs to drive
is.
it more too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't drive it very much now that we have Harlow.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure out how to get a car seat.
Well,
in that
it's the
thing.
parking I would more.
Well, listen, I'll take the Cadillac, you take the Lincoln.
Yeah.
I'll grab Lydia, you grab a Harlow. We'll go meet up at
There
the
you
park.
go. There you go. That's
We'll meet
cute.
up at the park and then
Yeah.
let them play.
Play date.
Yeah.
I like that.
How old is she now?
She's 10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll be one September 24th.
She's not walking yet, though, right?
She's getting close, but no,
Close,
she
okay.
can stand for like half a minute or so,
Yeah.
but she's not taking steps yet. But she's definitely like cruising around on all the furniture
That's awesome.
and starting to kind of let go a little bit just to kind of like test it out.
Yeah.
So she's going to be even more of a terror pretty soon.
Yeah.
She's in everything though. She's
the
in that
best
phase.
when they walk.
Yeah.
It's the best when they walk.
You're the only person who's ever said that to me.
Who, me?
Because I always say like I can't wait for her to walk, and people are like, "Oh no, you can wait because wait."
Oh, my
when
God,
she's
it's the
walking,
best.
she's in everything.
I come in from work, and then like she's like in the living room, she's all like playing, and her hair's all over the place, and then she hears a door slam, and then all you hear is like, ah, and then she turns around, and
Yeah.
she goes, runs towards me, runs.
So cute.
See?
She knows it's me, you know. She
Even
goes,
now,
"Ah."
yeah. When,
She runs.
when Kenny comes in the door, Harlow says, "Ah!" Like she does this. Yeah.
That's the best.
So
I
cute.
could be in a bad mood and it just.
It's all gone.
Boom.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
It's the best.
You always said that to me.
Yeah. Kids are people always complain. Oh, kids are. What do they say? Oh, your whole life's gonna change and this.
We
and that.
talked about that.
Yeah, remember?
a
And it's just
mindset.
like it really is
Everything.
a mindset.
It
Okay,
does
that's a
change,
mindset.
but we've had the best time. I think it's the way that you look at anything in life. Because, like, you know, a lot of women ask me that too, like, how was your labor and all of this? And so I think a lot of things are, like you said, it's all about kind of your perspective and your mindset. So if you want to think about all the negative, you can certainly find negative
100%.
things. But if you want to take a look at the positive, I mean, and I feel like we've done that with Harlow too. And Kenny's learned a lot, I think, from talking to you too over the last 10 months and how you deal with things with your daughter, because we really do enjoy it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can,
Tony
all
and
the other
other people
things
were
in life are
positive.
so small compared to that little life that,
Yeah.
you know,
She doesn't
you get
know.
to
I mean,
bring.
she's just a little kid.
Yeah.
yeah.
Little.
And it's so cool. Like everything is so new and exciting to her.
Yeah, right?
You know, you're like, gosh, you're really excited about that thing. You know,
Yeah,
it's like all
yeah.
these little things that she's looking at.
We introduced chocolate to her for the first time,
Oh,
like
geez.
a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and she's like licking every single finger and
Yeah.
you know, we don't give her any chocolate. Like
Yeah.
if she takes anything sweet, it's either fruits or we give her like yogurt with honey.
Yeah.
Like nothing. We finally introduced it to her because we kind of felt bad.
Yeah. Like this kid needs to have some.
Deprived.
Yeah.
You know, like eats nothing but veggies and
That's good.
so. But yeah, it's real. It's funny when they experience something new for the
For the first time that we take for granted. You know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, wow. You know, it is really cool to see though.
Yeah. Kids
yeah.
are the best.
It's been fun.
No, I think people watch this. Hopefully they get a little bit out of. I think like you said, it comes down like just like our business. It's Tony. That's why I think we built a friendship and we help each other with.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, my your stuff, my stuff, whatever. And I think that's what it's all about. I mean, you guys, Tony's has 2 shops. You're getting an honest business guy. That's pretty much what
Thank
it
you.
is.
Thank
At the end of the day, like if something's wrong, you don't like it. Sometimes we deliver that news and you deliver that news. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like,
Yeah,
you know,
I appreciate that.
yep.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
coming on,
Thank you
Tony.
guys.
It
Thank
And
was
you
a lot of
post
fun.
the stuff, his
Yep.
addresses and stuff.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.